Welcome back to Memories of a Musician. I'm your host, Vito DeSalvo. We have a great program for you this evening and a very different program from what we've had in the past. Tonight, we are featuring two gentlemen, Dave Petti and Joe Puglisi, who were both were executive producers of the movie That's Amore. They also were the two lead male roles in the movie and also wrote the storyline for the movie and the screenplay as well. So these guys did everything that you need to do when you're doing a film from A to Z. And I think it's interesting because the general public does not often get an opportunity to hear from someone who has produced a movie, a film, and what the many, many steps there are in getting a production like that done. It's a huge undertaking, and it takes a lot of determination, a lot of persistence, and all kinds of different things to get a project like that completed. So we're looking forward to having Joe and Dave come onto this program. Before I bring them on, I do want to do a couple things. I'm going to actually play the trailer for the movie, but before I play the trailer, I want to read what is the synopsis of this movie. That's Amore is a romantic comedy and a truly delightful story about family, friends, love, and living. It is character-driven with performances that will make you laugh and cry, filled with moments and personal relationships that the entire family will enjoy. The story revolves around Lucia Lombardi, played by Tammy Pescatelli, a single middle-aged nurse who lives with her feisty but ailing mother, Rosa, played by the late Barbara Russell. Lucia finds herself in a difficult situation when she makes a deal with Rosa that involves her dentist friend Rocco, played by Dave Petti, who has been infatuated with Lucia from the very first time he literally ran into her. Rocco's best friend Gino, played by Joe Puglisi, soon becomes involved in the antics, and the real fun begins. And so I did not mention, but I should mention that Joe and Dave, at some point, I got a phone call, and I believe it was from Dave, and Dave asked me if I would be interested in scoring this film. Now, I have had songs in movies before and different things, but never scored an entire film. However, my experiences with doing all the audiobooks and providing, composing the music for the audiobooks for Jack Bogan, and I did 4 albums with him of all his original stories, was a good foundation for this, because it's very similar to just mental movies instead of seeing the visual. And so I felt confident to say, yes, I would be interested. So we met for lunch. We had lunch and we talked about it, and I was brought on to do the film score. So let me play for you the movie trailer.
Sometimes running into love is easy.
I was going to Pascalino's to pick up our order, and I ran into this friend of mine.
How come you never told me about this, babe?
I told you I ran into her a few months ago. But when falling in love isn't part of the plan, the deal that you make, why don't we make a deal?
Yeah.
Why don't we make a deal?
Is the deal that you break. So do you still want to do this?
I do. Do you?
Tell me you're kidding. This is a joke.
Oh, this isn't a joke.
Oh, no. I'm not doing this.
There are no deal breakers here.
And then it was deal, and that's what happened.
I thought you said he was a dentist.
He is.
That's not a real doctor.
Besides, I gotta get home to see my girl.
Your girl?
Rocco? Rocco's gonna pull through somehow, okay? He's very special.
Oh, wow, dealing with the old Italian mom. Good luck with that.
Basta. It's all talk, no action.
Oh, it's you. You need to leave.
I knew this was a mistake from day one.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Father. Yeah, I mean, I know I messed up big time, okay?
you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Something just doesn't feel right. You're like an angel, a godsend, a lifesaver.
Well, whatever makes you happy.
A world of trouble.
Don't try to make me feel guilty.
And there's the trailer for the movie, the official trailer. So now, before I bring them on, I want to give you a little bit of background for both of these gentlemen. Dave Petti as Dr. Rocco Costa. Dave is an actor, voice artist, and stunt performer who has appeared in numerous films, television, and commercials over the last 25 years. He also is one of the executive producers and screenwriter for That's Amore. Dave has trained extensively with some of the finest teaching actors, including improv, scene study, and stunt training. He can be seen in feature films such as Jack Reacher and Hoffa, having the pleasure to work with Jack Nicholson, Danny DeVito, Rondell Sheridan, and others on the big screen. He enjoys working with the close-knit Pittsburgh indie film community and is a dental medical doctor. And then Joe Puglisi as Gino Mascari. Joe Puglisi has appeared in theater, commercials, and movies since starting his career only 7 years ago. He is also one of the executive producers of That's Amore and a co-author of the movie's original storyline. Raised in Brooklyn, New York, Joe has also trained and worked with many of Pittsburgh's finest actors. Joe is a college professor in Pittsburgh and is a co-owner of Little Italy Productions. His relationship as a principal actor in many of Point Park Productions led to the That's Amore crew, which was a pleasure to work with, and such professionals in front of and behind the camera. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, let me bring Joe Puglisi, there he is right here, and Dave Petti. Gentlemen, how are you?
Terrific. Terrific, Vito. And again, thank you for having us on the show. Thank you very much. Good seeing you.
An honor and a pleasure, believe me. Honor and a pleasure to see you both. And at one point, we were working together pretty closely for, a long time. And then after the movie premiered, we haven't really seen you guys so much. So
That's right.
nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
So, as you heard me tell the audience in the beginning about, they're going to hear some things, hopefully from you, both of you, about, this process, the process of making a film, A to Z. There's so many moving parts to this putting a film together. I can only imagine, and I don't even know them, but I know you do. So before we get to that, what is the genesis of the movie? How did you guys meet, and when did you become business partners? How did this all come about?
Dave, you want me to take that?
Joe, go right ahead.
Well, that's a good question. It was, and Dave, if I got some of the dates wrong, please correct me, but it was around the end of 2015, which is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Dave and I had been attending the acting classes, and through the acting classes and some films we were in, we became pretty good friends. But we're both frustrated at the opportunities for actors like us in Pittsburgh based on what was available to audition for. And we decided, like, why don't we just do our own film? And just like that. And it happened in a conversation just like that.
Wow.
And it was like, well, that's a good idea. Okay, well, okay, so yeah, it's a good idea. And then you have to realize like what it entails. But then we decided to do a romantic comedy. And then it went from there. And the first step was writing a script, and which took Dave, I think by the time it was finished was maybe a year and a half.
That's about right, Joe.
You know, and so and you know, writing scripts, and Dave really did a lot of heavy lifting on this. Writing a script's interesting because where you start off in your mind, typically, at least for me, is you start off with an idea of where the film's going to go and what's the arc of the film, and it goes a totally different area. I mean, you know, really, if we sat here, if I could remember exactly what we thought about how the film should flow, I think there would be so little of it that actually happened that way. You know, so yeah, I mean, then it began the venture of doing it on all the steps, you know, to find a crew, create a business, and, you know, things like that. But that's how it really started.
Yeah, I can understand that, because in you know, being a composer and writing music, there have been many times that I've written, I sit down and I'd write a little thing and I'm thinking, oh, this is a great chorus to a song, and it turns out to be the verse, and I have to write the word like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like when I wrote my symphony, you know, I had written a theme, and I thought it was going to be at the end of movement 3, and it turns out that became the main theme for movement 4. So it's the same thing that you're talking about. You start out down a path, but you never end up where you think you're going to end up, because always something changes that on the way down the path, and that's what happens in the creative world. That's just being, you know, the creative side of things. So let me show you. I want to show you a picture. Well, actually, this is not a picture. This is the original. This is the official poster from the movie, and I just think it was very well done. It has your names at the top, the 4 main actors, actresses, and that picture shot at the table. We have that. I'm going to show a little clip where that comes in. And then, of course, at the bottom, you have a lot of the credits and things. So that is the original poster. Now, I want to show you. I want to play for you.
By the way, Vito, just
yes.
shout out to my cousin Greg, who did the poster.
Oh, that's good.
He put it
They
together.
did a great job.
Yeah.
Your cousin did that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
We keep it all in the family.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? We just
Why not?
Indeed, we did. Indeed. Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to play, and you guys know this. I'm going to tell you, you know, what clips I'm going to use. This one here is the opening scene where you two are sitting at a table and there's a little banter going on. Do you want to talk a little bit about anything about that before I show that clip?
That's I believe what you're going to show is that was done in Pasqualino's restaurant. It's the opening scene of me sitting down having a cup of coffee with David, and then Rocco, and Rocco tells me that he has met this woman, and then we had a chance to meet Lucia during the time we were in the restaurant, and it starts from there, and you begin to see that I, as a friend of Rocco, is a little concerned that he's getting involved in something that he really shouldn't be getting involved in.
Okay. All right. Let me show this clip.
So I'm seeing Lucia tomorrow before to fix a tooth for her. She doesn't like having dental work done, so I'll make sure I give her special treatment.
Oh, I bet you will.
What do you mean by that?
How come you never told me about this babe?
She's not a babe. There's nothing to tell.
Like hell there isn't. Where do you know her from?
I told you I ran into her a few months ago. I mean, I literally ran into her at Pezzamenti's grocery store.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Knocked her box of cookies clean out of her hands and all over the sidewalk.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And she was just so pleasant about it. Never got the least bit upset. Ever since then, we just keep running into each other. It was the strangest thing.
Listen, my friend, you got the hots for her big time. Even a blind man could see that.
I don't know. There's just something so warm, so familiar about her.
Yeah, but that's how it starts. And once she sinks her pretty little teeth into you, you're a goner. She's going to systematically suck you dry till all you have is a pot to piss in.
There's nothing going on here, Gino.
You'll leave you as an empty shell of a man. Listen to me, Rocco. Don't let it get close to you. It's not worth it. Watch yourself.
Thanks, Gino. You're a wealth of knowledge.
You're welcome, pal.
Look, I gotta get home to my girl. I'll see you at the office tomorrow.
You know, I can't wait. I want to get better acquainted with the hot new assistant you got.
Who, Debbie?
You don't think Debbie's good looking?
No, well, yeah, but look, Gino, she just started. Hands off.
Yeah, right. You know, it's amazing. Vito, you know, it's amazing. I could watch that scene so many times and I still laugh.
I do too. And I love that line when you said the way you said that. And yeah, right. It's like we've all said that, but the way you said it was great. It was perfect. No, I love it. And so we talk about. I want to show another picture. This is just actually it's very similar to the poster, except this is just a table shot. And there's a Larry the Cable Guy, and gave you guys a little shot out there. An entertaining and fun romantic comedy with an absolutely outstanding performance by Tammy Pescatelli. And tell them a little bit about Tammy. I mean, I've watched on YouTube her videos. She's a comedian. She's funny as hell. Yeah.
So Tammy and Larry the Cable Guy. Larry the Cable Guy does Tammy's albums, whatever, you know. So they have the same marketing person. So I went to the marketing person and said, "Can we get a quote from Larry if he watches the film?" And so he did, and that's the quote that he got. Originally, we didn't know who was going to play Lucia, so. I have another friend who's a comedian that wanted, and I said, well, for whatever reason, I was just friends with Tammy on Facebook. I followed her on Facebook. We weren't friends. And so I got in touch with her, and I was thinking, well, she probably lives in, she's LA, wherever in here. And no, she had moved to Meadville, Pennsylvania years before, so her son could grow up in a non-LA type of atmosphere. So I sent the script out to her, and it just wouldn't arrive. It wouldn't get there. And then finally, when it did, it was between Christmas and New Year's. I actually can't pinpoint the year right now. But then we got in touch, and she said, give me about a week. I'm home. I'm on break from doing stand-up, and I'll let you know what I think. And basically, she called me the next day and goes, I'm in.
Oh, wow.
So it worked out that way. I mean, we put it out there and she put it back, and Tammy's a great person, no ego whatsoever. She was there as all of the cast was, and all of the crew was, and yourself, Vito, and obviously Joe, to just do the best job possible, to have fun. And that's what we did, and that's what shows up in the film.
Very good. That's right.
Yep. So the next scene, I want to play a little clip. This is in the dentist office. And Dave, you were a dentist in your career for sure.
That's what the license said.
Yeah. And you're playing the role of the dentist in the movie as well, which is kind of interesting.
You're in screenplay writing. You write what you know.
Yeah.
So as Joe's character is Joe's background also. I mean Gino's background. Sure. So yeah. I was a dentist for 40 years. Retired for about 6 years now.
Oh, that's nice. Wow. Congratulations. So this scene is when Gino's getting some work done on his teeth, and you're bringing him up on the chair, and then he meets Debbie's there, and that starts a little scene there. You want to say anything about that?
Well, and that scene, I'm in the chair, and Rocco comes in and kind of says something to me, and I reply to him like, "Oh, you're going to see your girlfriend today," or whatever whatever the words I used, and Debbie, the hygienist, got a little nervous because you'll find out in the film that she really is attracted to Rocco.
Okay.
But I'm attracted to her. So as I start doing my thing to get her to kind of maybe go out with me, you see how it unfolds.
Yeah. Okay. We will play that right now. Let's see here. I think that's 03.
Bite up and down a couple times there, Gino. How's that feel, pal?
Great.
You know, with that new crown, you're going to be able to eat like a king. Not that that had ever stopped you before. Listen, I'll catch you later. Deb's going to finish up in here. I got to get to my next patient.
Going to see your new girlfriend?
You're a riot, Gino.
What did you mean by that?
No, Rocco's got the hots for his next patient.
Really? Having fun, are we?
Now I am.
Okay, open up. Turn this on. Okay, good. Now, close your lips real tight around that.
I love it when you talk rough.
Okay. If you're done playing around, I'd like to go over some instructions with you. So you want to make sure to wait at least a half an hour before
That's
you
a
eat,
fine-looking boy you got there.
because you want to make sure the cement completely sets. Okay? Are you following me?
I'll follow you anywhere.
Okay. Look, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but I don't want any part of it, okay? I'm fairly new here, and I like my job, so back off, please.
Why don't we go out sometime? Anywhere you want to go?
Nope, no way.
Why don't you give me a chance?
Nope, I know your type.
You don't know a thing about me.
I'm pretty sure you can't hold a candle to Doc.
Deb puts the suction in my mouth. That's Amore.
Here's that scene. Good one. Good one.
One of the things, just to comment, and the scene at the very last moment when I'm in the chair and I make a comment about Debbie putting the suction in my mouth, that's improvised. And the director said to me, say something at the end, so I did. But I want to bring it up because there's a couple of things I think you're going to show. We're going to bring up the things that were improvised.
Okay.
And then, so that was really the first time, because we shot that early. That
was first day, Joe.
So it's I'm sorry, Dave. And,
no, I was going to say, and to complement what you're saying in here, we had such a creative crew and cast and whatever that we did. The screenplay once again is an ever-changing vehicle, and it would have an action line that said something, and Dan, our director, would go, just go with it, and he gave that cue to Joe, and Joe came up with that. And once again, that's just some creative. In my book, has some creative brilliance in there, and
Sure.
those are the things that made it go right. So there'll be more examples of that as we move along.
Okay, good. So there are a lot of moving parts. I said this before in making a film. What were some of the surprises that you encountered during the filmmaking process, and what were some of the major roadblocks that you ran into in making this film? Go ahead, Dave.
So I have one because we talked about, this the other night, but they'll be seen, and I don't want to give too much away, but there is a towards the end of the film, we're filming in Rocco's house, and a pet is involved. So we're getting ready to shoot the scene, and it was my older daughter's pet, and the pet locked itself in the car before we were shooting the scene. So we were all ready to go, and Angie, my daughter, calls up and goes, Carl just locked himself in the car. We don't know when we're going to get there. So I mean, that's stuff that shows up daily. Joe probably has some good stories too, but get the idea that take a deep breath, you roll with it. We were set back maybe a half an hour, and so it was no big deal. But funny stuff like that comes up all the time, and it can be very challenging if you don't have a good team of people to just keep your heads about you. It's going to be fine. So once again, hats off to everybody there.
Sure.
Well said. Well said. You know what it struck me was behind the camera and the crew, and there's a lot of equipment involved. So when we would move from one location to another, and I remember clearly when we shot the scene at La Roche University, and I don't know if you'd be playing a clip to that or not, but all the equipment that had to come in to shoot that scene, and how the crew had to move that heavy equipment in there and make sure that, they had the right equipment, the equipment set up on time. It's just like a constant thing like that. You don't see that. Like you just see a film go on, but behind the scenes, sometimes it's incredible what has to get done.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, 10 minutes after the last shot is done, it's like they were never there. They were that efficient, and just, because there's lights and clips and blah and cables all over the place. 10 minutes after the last shot of the day, that stuff is packed up and gone, and it looks like the original location. It was like amazing, right, Joe?
No, absolutely right.
Yeah.
We had a great crew. That's absolutely
And
right.
I'm always amazed by when you watch a movie and then at the end you watch the credits, and of course the cast, you see the cast is X amount of people, could be 10, 12 people, but then the crew, it could be 40, 50 people. I mean, it could be a ton of people. It's like there's a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of people to do exactly what you just said in 10 minutes. It's like it never happened there.
Yeah.
Why? Because there are enough people to get in and know what they're doing and get everything out of there. It's striking. Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, nobody makes nobody has the name at the end of the film if they didn't do anything. So, when you have all those people there, they performed the function, and you realize there's a lot of functions that have to be done.
A lot of functions. That's right. So I'd like to play this next clip. It's the montage scene where we did, and I thought it was kind of interesting because Dave, you had requested the Musetta's Waltz, which is, of course, Puccini from Love When. And you actually had a recording. We tried to secure the recording and license the recording, but it was so outrageous, the amount of money they wanted for it. We couldn't do it. I said, Dave, don't worry about it. I'll record it myself. The song itself is PD. So I says, I'll just do a recording of it myself. And I used the accordion on it, which was kind of unique because I don't think there's too many recordings of this song with an accordion on it. But anyhow, that rolls right into when you go to Rosa's house after, and you have a little conversation there with Lucia and her mother.
Right.
Yes. So this is actually like two scenes put together, one, but let's say occur in the movie.
Ma, aren't these roses that Rocco picked for you lovely?
Sure hope they don't stir up my allergies. Once I start taking those allergy pills, menage a la miseria, I'm out of it for days. So, I understand your family's from Italy?
Yes.
What part?
Supino, it's a small village between Rome and Naples.
Oh, that's good. It's a good thing you're not from Calabria. Ooh, those Calabrese, they can be a real scorchament.
Ma, please.
And you want to marry my daughter.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
So what's with the ring? I don't know what that thing is on her finger, but it hardly counts as a real engagement ring.
Well, you see, I'm having a special ring made for her.
And I've seen a picture of it already, Ma. It's beautiful.
Well, I hope so. Couldn't you have waited for a real engagement ring before you got engaged? What's a rush?
Well, I know things happened rather quickly, but from the very first time I laid eyes upon your daughter, I knew that we were just meant to be. And then the day she came into my dental office, I mean, I was completely taken by surprise that Lucia would actually...
Say yes, that I would say yes to the most considerate and kind man I've ever met. Ma, why don't you make him something to eat, please? I bet you're hungry by now, aren't you, Rocco, dear?
Oh, you know what? No, I'm fine. Besides, I got to get home to see my girl.
Your girl?
Oh, my girl is actually my dog, Bella. She is such a sweetheart, but not as sweet as your daughter. Well, I better get going. It was a pleasure to finally get to meet you, Mrs. Lombardi. And you have such a beautiful home here.
I'll walk you out, Rocco.
Thanks.
Oh, that's the scene. There you go. That's funny. You know, I want to say something because I remember Barbara Russell. Number one, I think it mentioned somewhere that she was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood pretty often, but she was also, there was a guy named Don Brockett, and she was with Don Brockett a lot, and she was let's say a well-known Pittsburgh or Western Pennsylvania tri-state area actress. She was pretty well known in the area, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, she passed away right after the filming of this movie. And so this was her last movie that she did. Is that right?
Yeah, she passed away 1 month after principal photography.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And she was actually in the very first episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. It's
yeah.
She's the character. Yeah.
Yeah. She had a long and successful career, though. Yeah.
Movies, theater, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that was great. I think it was great that you got her on this film. That was awesome. So, at what point? This is a question. At what point does the music enter the process, and how did the producer work with the film composer?
David, who did the music, David?
I don't know. It's a loaded question.
Sort of Italian guy. So the way that this works is when the film is finished, it goes into what's called picture lock, which means all of the scenes are put together as far as the visual goes. All right. And Joe and I would just watch different takes of it and make our suggestions, blah, 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 and do whatever. So at that point in time, Vito, I believe you and I were just listening to different aspects of your music library. And I'd send you a scene and we would go, what do you think would work in here? And we would collaborate back and forth on what would work. I might have an idea in there. You may have an idea. And then I would grab the music, throw it into the scene, and then we would take a look at it and see what needed to be done, polished with it, whatever. But there was, thank God for your library of what you've did and done in the past, because there was so much there to work with. I mean, there really was, and it was all great stuff. And I think what we selected and how we put it in the film works very well.
Mhm. Good. So it's near the end of the process of really making a film. The music's near the end.
After it goes to picture lock, then it goes over, a copy of that goes over to the sound editor, and the sound editor then would take our scenes and put them in where, put them in where we wanted them to come in, and work the volume and the tempo and all of that stuff.
And what's left after that? What else in the process? Is there something about color matching or something?
Yeah, goes over to the colorist, which makes sure that everything that's shot has the correct color backgrounds to it.
I see.
Yeah, and the sound editor not only does the sound, he does the sound effects. If there's inaudible stuff, you have to do what's known as ADR, additional dialogue recording, where Joe and I and Tammy came back in, and a few of our lines that were muffled, or if something was going on in the background, you re-record over those. Fortunately, all of Barbara Russell's audio was as clear as a bell. So wow. And that takes place after principal photography. So that was, she had passed away probably a good 6-8 months before it even got close to that.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
And if I may add something, we finished shooting in July, at the end of July 2018, and the film was ready to be shown in its entirety and prepared at the end of 2019. So it was about almost a year and a half between the editing, colorization, sound, music, to and that's a long process. And and then we had that showing at Zelienople in the Strand Theater, which is north of Pittsburgh, in February of 2020.
Okay. Yeah, that is a long process for sure. I can relate to that with when I composed my symphony. I composed it and recorded it within about 6 to 8 weeks, but it took a good almost 3 years, 2.5 years, to do all the editing of the scores and parts and all that. So everything has its process, right? Especially in the creative world.
Yeah.
It just click your fingers and it's done. It takes a lot of determination to stay with it and stay on course. That's why I give you guys all the credit in the world to do that, because I don't know anyone else that has done a film like that from beginning to end and had every aspect covered like you guys did. That's amazing. I want to do a little scene where they're in the dental office, Gino and Debbie, and they're searching for the ring. Gino, that you had we talked about this a little bit,
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll let you play the scene, then I'm going to comment on it. Okay.
Okay. Let me play this scene.
Hello, beautiful.
Oh, God. What do you want?
Relax, sweetheart. I'm just trying to track down the boss.
Well, you're out of luck. He left a bit ago.
Hey, you want to see something really sweet? Check this out. Rocco had this custom made for Lucia.
Oh, it's beautiful. What are you doing with it?
I was asked to deliver it. Rocco's not expecting it for a week, so this has to be in the hush-hush.
Oh, no worries. Can I take a look, please?
Okay.
Whoa. This is gorgeous.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Actually looks better on me, I must say.
Yeah, perhaps, but the ring belongs to Lucia, so give it back.
All right.
Come Come on, Debbie, quit fooling around. Just give me the ring.
I'm not fooling around, Gino. It's not coming off.
Debbie, we have to find a way to get that ring off your finger. I need something simple. Throw a little water and soap. Put some soap on.
Nope, not working.
What's this?
What? You're gonna cauterize it? No way. What are you, crazy?
We gotta get it off.
You're cauterizing my finger. And you're not drilling my finger either. What are you, a lunatic?
We gotta
No
get
way.
What's in here? This looks good. Let's try WD-40.
What, I'm the Tin Man now? No way.
Try it. Did it come off?
No.
Here, give me a finger.
Really need your head examined. Absolutely
Come off
not.
your finger,
Yeah,
Debbie.
okay.
Debbie, I'm not leaving without the ring, Debbie.
No way. I came in with 10 fingers. I'm leaving with 10 fingers. Oh, yeah.
Try
okay.
this. Try this. Okay, pull, Debbie.
Oh,
Pull.
yeah, it's working. It's working.
Okay, see? I was right.
No, it's not, you moron. They're plastic teeth.
What's this for anyway? Floss. Where's a floss?
You're going to use floss? What?
I bet you this is gonna work.
I don't think so, Gino.
Wrap it around your finger real tight so it covers the knuckle. And then I bet you can slide that ring off.
Thank God.
Debbie, you're killing me, you know that? Where's the box for that ring?
I don't know, but I'll just put it in this gauze packet, okay? It'll be safe in here. You okay?
You know, I have to say, Debbie, you are one exciting woman. Debbie, why don't you come out and have a drink with me? I could use a drink after this.
I have a better idea. Why don't you save your breath for your inflatable date?
Debbie, come on, we can have some fun.
Look, Gino, I gotta get this room clean and get home. The ring's in there. Have a nice night.
Well, there's a couple of things with that scene. And first of all, outside of the conversation I have with Debbie at the beginning about this is Lucia's ring, and once the ring was on her finger and she couldn't get it off, everything else was improvised.
Yeah.
We didn't follow a script. Everything else was improvised.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and it really worked out well. She's great.
Yeah.
She has great comments and stuff. By the way, that floss thing actually does work. If you have a ring stuck in a finger, it actually does work. So,
Right.
to get a ring off. But what I wanted to say about the scene too is, in seeing that the film prior to the music and seeing that scene prior to any music in there, and then seeing that scene and other scenes with the music in there, what a difference. What a difference it makes. It just makes it alive. It really brings it. And, I remember commenting to Dave saying, like, what a difference the music makes. I mean, because, the audience just gets involved. The tune's really catchy and, just flows so nicely that it just really made that was one of my favorite scenes, but the music really made it even better than it could be, so it was terrific.
Thank you. That was an instrumental version of the Largo from the Barbara Seville. Yeah, but that I just thought it's kind of fit the scene right, with the action. So it was
Just to follow up on what Joe said.
Yeah.
That was total genius and collaborative effort. Because I remember the action line on the script literally said, Gino grabs some floss and gets the ring off her finger. That was the written line.
oh,
And then Dan said, let's improvise. And then you had two really great people between Joe and Debbie, just work with him and just do all of that. And it came together just beautifully. So once again, that just an idea of a team of people collaborating and making things go right.
sure. That's awesome. So we talked about after the music track was complete and the other steps, we did talk about that. So I have a clip that it's the Italian club bar scene that I want to play. I like this scene. Again, it's the two of you, and you're announcing to Gino that you're going to get married, and you're going to ask him to get a ring made because he has a cousin that makes rings. So I want to show this, and then you could talk about this.
Thank you.
This better be good. I was in the mill or something.
I don't know how you do it. Casanova's got nothing on you.
So what's up, Paisan? Somebody dying?
I'm getting married. Nice.
What? To who?
Lucia Lombardi. You know, you met her yesterday.
I know I met her. Who told you to get married?
No one. Well, Pam's usually suggesting that getting married might be a good thing for me.
Pam, your front desk person.
Yeah,
She schedules your appointments.
I know, but she's really smart.
If she's so smart, why is she on a third marriage?
Don't know. Look, there's just something special about Lucia. She just, I don't know, she just makes me feel so good.
So does a six-pack.
Love that line.
Tell me you're kidding. This is a joke.
Oh, this isn't a joke. It's just like Dean says. That's Amore. It always hits you when you least expect it.
You know, you did the same thing with Nicole. This time I'm not buying it.
Look, we're getting married, okay? So, didn't you tell me that you had a cousin who was a custom jeweler?
Yeah?
Well, I was hoping he could fix me up with like a real engagement ring.
You know, you're setting yourself up for a heartache. You know that?
Look, you gotta trust me on this. Lucia and I are getting married, and I would really like your help with this ring. Come on.
Okay, let me see if I could get Moisture on the phone.
Your cousin's name is Moisha?
Yeah, Moisture Zimmerman.
What part of Italy is he from?
It's a long story.
That's some classic lines there. The six-pack and what part of Italy is he? Great.
And as a side note, the guy that played the jeweler, you know,
Yes.
that this leads into, was
Yeah.
was original vocal and keyboards for Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
I remember meeting him at the premiere, and yes, I really
And,
know.
Joe and I had no idea, right, Joe?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. That and he did a fabulous job.
Oh.
And I'll leave it for the viewers to hopefully rent the movie and see what happens after that. But there's a little twist, you know,
Yeah.
because when we thought about who the jeweler should be, what we didn't want if the typical thing like, well, I have a big Eddie is going to buy the ring, you
Yeah.
know, the typical. It was going to be something that was totally, you know, implausible. But
Yeah.
we felt it worked out very well.
Yeah, I did. I thought so too. And that was interesting about him being a musician. I don't remember. I did talk with him, but I don't remember asking him how he went from transitions from musician to being an actor, you know.
That was his first role.
Yes.
Is that right? Oh, it was his first role?
He sent in an audition tape that was just like, we looked at it and went, yep, that's him.
Oh, wow.
We'd have to look anyplace else.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to talk about this next scene, and it's actually, again, two scenes. One in the classroom where Joe's teaching, Gino's teaching, I should say Gino is teaching, and I think marketing in his classroom there. And then you come in to see him because you're concerned because you haven't got this ring yet. And so that's part of it. And then right when that scene ends, you and Lucia walk into the priest's office to meet the priest for the first time. Another interesting character. So you want to comment afterwards or before?
Comment after.
Okay. Let me go into this one here.
Next assignment. What I want you to do is develop a plan for a product, which is an 18-ounce box of cereal called Strawberries and Cornflakes. And in the plan, I want you to show me 2 distinct ways where you could have a price increase without actually raising the price of the product. So remember, think about consumer perception, okay? Have fun. I'll see you next week.
Do you ever check your phone?
I know, Rocco, and holy cow, what's the emergency?
I need to know when your cousin's going to have Lucia's ring ready.
You know Moisha's working on it. What's the rush?
Wait a minute, let me guess.
She didn't like the 4-carat, the 4-cusp tooth ring you gave her already?
Rocco, you look flustered. What's the matter?
Oh, I guess everything's okay. It's just her mom's kind of old school, and she wants to see a real engagement ring, so she knows I'm serious about marrying her daughter.
Oh, well, dealing with the old Italian mom. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let me call Moisha and make sure he's on top of it, okay?
All right.
Because you know why? I'm glad to help out a pal who's about to make a big mistake. You know me, Rocco. I don't like to judge or criticize.
Rocco, relax. Everything's going to be okay.
I'll talk to Moisha and I'll let you know how he's doing, okay?
All right. I appreciate it, Paisan.
You'll be
Thanks.
Good. You'll be good.
Father?
Yes.
Hi. I made you these pizzelles. They're from a century-old recipe from Morocco's mother. The writing was a little smudged, but I think I got the ingredients correct.
Of course you did, dear.
Well, thank you very much. I feel that my waistline is going to expand the way all my kind parishioners have been feeding me.
Well, we're just happy to have you here at St. Stephen's.
Thank you. I am so glad to be here. Well, we might as well get started.
You've already told me that you come here freely, and you both are free to marry in the eyes of the church.
Yeah.
Yes.
The rest of the paperwork and all the items needed, such as the baptismal certificate, the birth certificate, the contact list for witnesses, are all right here.
Well, Father, we were thinking we could set a wedding date today, say in 2 months.
2 months? That seems rather quick. Why the rush? Wait, you're not with child, are you?
Heavens no, Father. No, that's not it.
Yeah, that would be quite the immaculate conception.
Oh, well, I'm relieved to hear that.
Yeah, I'm glad one of us is.
Now, I want you both to complete the focus compatibility inventory. Are either of you familiar with what focus means? Yes, Wacko.
It means that you must have focused on your son. Huh?
Oh,
I'm sorry, Father.
that was very clever. It's actually a questionnaire designed to help engaged couples learn more about themselves. It covers your attitudes on a variety of topics. It's quite revealing.
Sounds very useful.
Oh, it is. And you can take it online, but you must take it privately and don't compare answers. In a few weeks, we'll get together, and if everything goes well, we'll set the wedding date.
Thank you so much, Father. We'll take it right away.
Thanks for everything, Father.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
Take care now. God bless you both.
I bet I get a higher score than you.
Wacko, this is not a competition.
Father, come on, I was just kidding.
Oh, yes, I see you're a very funny man.
Thank you, Father.
Hats off to Phil Scrimenti, who played the role of the priest. He just did a fabulous job, and he is one of the maybe number one in the characters that when people watch the movie they will mention him and say, I love that character. He just did a great job.
He did. I agree with that. Yeah, that was a fun scene. So let's talk about for a second. Let's talk about we get the movie done, everything is finalized, and now you're preparing to premiere the movie. So let's talk about how you came up with the Strand Theater, and we set a date, and you had everybody there, and as many of the cast and crew that could be there, and talk a little bit about the red carpet premiere. I want to show you one picture because I have a couple, but this one here, of course, is I used this in the promo for your show here tonight. And then this one is the same one, except there's 3 little ones under that. They're my 3 grandchildren. They came up for the premiere to see it. Okay. And so I wanted to show that because I'm going to test them to see if they really watched this episode or not.
But if I could comment, because what we normally or normally doesn't come up is the fact that once the movie is finished, you have to do marketing. Marketing is a very big thing. And Vito, like you've done your CDs and stuff, it goes nowhere unless it's marketed, and that's a science in itself. So probably what we were able to do is get some pretty good support, and we were in newspapers, gave us support in the film because we filmed in Pittsburgh for the different things that they could talk to their consumers about. We were on TV, PBS, Filmmakers Corner. We talked about the movie. We had the Strand Theater, which we had a really good deal with to do 4 showings, and they gave us a lot of support. They had a bulletin come out, and they had a lot of subscribers who it could basically fill the theater for 4 days. So the marketing is a big part, and unless that's done, you're just throwing the dice. People just never heard of the movie, and there was no reason for them to go see a movie they never heard of. But the film then, and what happened then at the Strand Theater, we had 4 showings. Capacity at the Strand was 260 seats, and we filled the theater just about every viewing. And if we could boast a little bit, we got a standing ovation after every viewing.
Yeah.
So it was, just to talk about life, we felt very good about the fact that, what happened at the Strand, and then we thought about going to other theaters and doing a good relationship between, renting a theater or whatever we could work out. But COVID hit the next week, and everything was shut down. And, it took us a long time to do anything, and then we eventually got onto streaming. We had to distribute, and we got onto streaming. But so that's how we did it. I mean, but you can't get away from the marketing end, because that's where, people don't know your product. You got the best product in the world.
Yeah.
They're not gonna
buy it. I have to tell you a quick story, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you this because you're talking about marketing, and you realize that I'm a music educator and I'm a musician. My wife is, even though she was involved in the business side of it, she was an educator as well. And we're into a business that neither one of us had business 101, right? And so I was exactly the opposite. I put all of my dollars into production, and then when the album was done, I had $0 to market the product and to do anything, to get it out to market. And so it took me a while. And then I have a friend, he was actually a guest on here weeks and weeks ago, Tom Causey. And Tom was a vice president of marketing for RCA Records. And I mean, he was big time in the record industry. And that was his main role, was marketing. Well, I asked Tom if he would help me, and this was in 2001. And we did an album called Con Amore. And I put more money in this album than any other album that I ever did. But now I understand at this point that I need to get this, I need to market this. And so I brought Tom in to help, and we put a plan together, et cetera, et cetera. We played every Labor Day weekend at Station Square for the Italian Festival. And so we're there, and I figured this is a perfect place to launch the album. And then from there, we'll put the marketing plan goes into motion and so forth. Well, guess what? 2001, September 11 happened.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
When you said COVID, this reminded me what happened to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Most money I had ever spent on a project, and who's going to be interested in buying an album at that point, with 9/11. So it just, things happen, and you have to be ready to take those bumps as they come, right? And
Absolutely.
So I understand. I totally understand that. The red carpet thing was wonderful. It was a great event, and there were different songs that I had used, and there were different artists, sometimes composers and things. I want to show you this picture here. This is at the event, the very first night of the premiere. And that's Dave and Joe there, and then with Tammy, Lucia, and Tammy and myself. And then I have this picture, which has Phil, the priest, in there with us, which is a nice photo in there. Yeah. And then I think this one here. Now that young lady is Daniela Pasquini Shiriak. And there was one point in the movie we used a song, Mio Bambino, Cara, and she sang it on one of our recordings. So I used a piece of that, of her singing. So she was there as well. So it was an interesting. We have all these people, and then of course is Dave and your late wife Audrey, right, and a friend of Joe's, Kitty, there. And so we had everybody was looking good that night. I got to tell you, it was fun.
That it was.
So, yeah, it was really a lot of fun. So I want to play this scene is what we call the dinner scene when Gino and Lucia and her mother Rosa and of course Rocco are having dinner, and Rocco's thinking he's celebrating, getting married in the next few weeks or whatever it is, and then of course things kind of take a different turn. So let me play this scene, and then we can comment on it.
Tell me what's in it for real.
What you need to give amount?
She doesn't know.
Can I interest anybody in some dessert?
What's everybody think?
Sure, sure.
Tony, let's have a dessert menu, por favor.
Certamente, Dr. Rock.
Well, I'd like to propose a toast to my beautiful bride-to-be, matron of honor, and my best man, for all the help and support they've given me. Salute.
Salud.
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 3 weeks from now, I'll be starting a new life with Lucia, a new journey. And I can't even begin to describe how much I'm looking forward to it.
And I can't begin to describe how much I'm looking forward to seeing Lucia's real engagement
Oh,
ring.
Ma, I think you've had enough wine.
Nonsense. Wine is good for the heart. I read that somewhere.
Yeah, but not a whole bottle.
Look, I know what you may be thinking, Mrs. Lombardi, and I can assure you that the ring will be
You know
done.
what I'm thinking. I'll tell you what I've been thinking.
Ma, that's enough. Drop it, okay?
Stay out of this, Lucia. That ring was part of the deal, and you know it.
Mom says crazy stuff sometimes when she drinks. And you really shouldn't even be drinking because you're on heart meds.
Lucia's been waiting for that ring for over a month, and you haven't come through yet.
I can assure you that
Basta. It's all talk. No action. You know what I think? I don't think there is a ring.
Oh, Mom, that's enough. You
The
can't.
tiramisu, the cannolis,
Enough.
the panna cotta.
That's enough. It's not Rocco's fault. I was in charge of getting the engagement ring for Lucia. And I lost the ring. The ring is lost. It's not his fault, it's my fault.
What? But, Gino, you said...
I know what I told you. I made up the story about Moisha being sick.
Who the hell is Moisha?
I thought I have enough time to find the ring, but no luck yet. Anyway, not to worry, Rocco. I'm having Moisha make...
Who the hell is Moisha?
Gino, that's not okay. But you're my best friend and you lied to me?
What'd I tell you, Lucia? It's a bad deal. And it's another sign.
What are you talking about? What's all this about a deal?
I told you, Lucia, I saw it coming. No ring, no deal. No wedding, no surgery.
Come on, Ma. But my mother, when she drinks too much wine, sometimes she gets sick the next day. I gotta get her out of here. Come on, let's.
No.
Show me out.
You two aren't going anywhere. What's all this about a deal, Lucia?
Yeah, I'd like to hear about this deal.
Gino, stay out of this. You've done enough damage.
Okay, so the truth is Mom needs a heart surgery. And she said she wouldn't have it unless I got married. And then you broke my tooth. And then it was deal, and that's what happened. And then that's how it started, right? That's not how it is now. You have to believe me. It's real now, Rocco. Everything changed.
So that's why you asked me to marry you.
You asked Rocco to marry you? Oh, Lucia, how could you? Oh, Madonna mia, that's low. Oy.
I knew this was a mistake from day one.
I can't believe this. You made a deal with your mom to marry me? My best friend lies to me, and then I find out that the woman I love is using me?
Rocco, please, Rocco, let me explain. You don't understand.
I've heard enough. I'm sorry, Lucia. I trusted you. Well, you know what? You don't have to worry about a deal, because there is no deal. And there's no wedding.
Oh.
We're done.
Come on, Rocco.
Oh, no, Gino. I'm through with you, too. I don't trust any of you anymore. You know what? Why don't you take care of the bill? Maybe you won't screw that up.
Congratulations, Lucia. You ruined my best friend's life with your deal.
Oh, yeah? Me, Gino? What about you, Gino? If you'd have done your job, none of this would have happened. You had one job.
I can't believe you tried to trick me. Filia me, taking advantage of me like that. And it's a good thing you're such a screw-up. Look.
Is anyone still interested in dessert?
Sure, why not?
Oh.
How's the cannoli?
I love that scene.
Yeah.
By the way, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did at least 10 takes on that.
Oh, really?
It's a complicated scene.
Yes.
And it was shot from all kinds of angles because there's a lot going on in that scene, and everybody handled it extremely well. I mean, once again, just the creative talent that was there, and what we were able to pull off, and I'm sure and Joe remembers this, that the spilling of the glass was totally impromptu. I mean, that wasn't planned. It was just, he brought that, and Barbara Russell picks up on that immediately and just
That's right.
handles it.
That was great. And wasn't the waiter, wasn't he the director of the movie?
Yeah, that's Dan. He was the director. Who was the waiter.
And so he had a cameo role in the show.
Yeah.
And he did a great part coming in and out, not knowing what to say, and that was funny. That was good.
If I could just comment on something too in the scene, and we talked about the credits at the end and a lot of names, and
Yes.
I said everybody has a function. Well, what's lost on the audience typically is that after a scene like that, after every scene, the table has to be put back to exactly how it was at the beginning. So what that means is the glasses have to be at the same place. They have to be filled to the same level.
Same level.
And you have someone who takes pictures of the original setup and then is able to work with the picture to get that scene right back to the very beginning again.
Wow.
Yeah, good point, Joe. Absolutely. A lot
Yeah,
goes on.
I never thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so you have that, and we did so many takes on that. I mean, it had a 3 or 4 hour shoot, I think, by the time we finished it.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was certainly one of my favorites, that scene. I think everybody did a fabulous job.
Yeah, definitely. So tell our audience where they can go to stream That's Amore now, today, currently.
Dave, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Number one, it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's been on Amazon Prime for a while. With streaming services that have the ads to it, which are called ad VODs, ad video on demand. That Tubi, it's on Tubi. It's on YouTube Movies. As a matter of fact, last year at this time, it was the #1 romantic comedy on YouTube Movies. Views are we're pushing 500,000
Wow.
views just on YouTube Movies.
Wow.
So it gets out there, and those are the 3 primary sites. If you go onto like IMDb, it'll show you some others that it's on. But I think overall, we're on something like 22 streaming sites. A lot of it goes to other countries and whatever. So,
I see. Very good.
And then another thing is, which Dave was instrumental in getting done, is we now are on DVD, and the DVD is available on Amazon.
Okay.
And Dave and I would like to send you a DVD, Vito.
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, and so that's available also in DVD, and so it's kind of neat. It's getting out there, and we continue to get good comments, and we're obviously proud of our work.
Real quick story in here. I was over to my elder daughter's at Easter time. Her son is a Monroeville police officer. They have a motorcycle gang, not a bad gang. It's like police officer gang. So his friends were down from Michigan, and the one pet that was in the film, Carl, was roaming around, I think, because that's their dog. And Joe's boasting about Carl. He goes, well, Carl's been this, that. And he goes, he was even in a movie. And the one guy goes, from motorcycle gang, he goes, what movie was he in? He goes, That's Amore. He goes, I saw that. He goes, I watched that. That's a great movie. Like, just, people will run into it. And it has had, if you go on YouTube, it has had over something like 2,000 likes and close to a couple of hundred of the best comments you could ever read about the film. So we're very, very proud of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's wonderful. You guys have every right to be proud too. Very, very wonderful. I have 2 more scenes that I want to show. One is the coffee shop scene with Gino and Debbie. And then I have a final scene that I'm going to show. So let's watch this, and then you can comment on it.
Deb, I don't know what to do. Rocco won't talk to me. He won't answer my calls. He won't take my messages.
I know, he told us all about what happened last night. He's a mess, Gino. And right now, you and Lucia are radioactive.
He's my best friend. And he hit rock bottom. I just feel so helpless.
I know. I'm not so sure what to do either. The poor guy. He looks so sad. I get a lunch break right after this next patient. Why don't we meet at the coffee shop and see if there's something we can do?
Okay,
And Lucia actually said she made a deal with her mother to marry Rocco? How devastating.
Yeah, and it was Rosa who spilled the beans about the deal. And she drank too much wine and started on Rocco about the engagement ring. One thing led to another, was downhill from there.
Gina, I looked everywhere for that ring. I really don't know what happened to it.
I know. It's not your fault. Anyway, I had Moisha make another one.
You did what?
Well, I figured if we lost that ring, Why not just get another one? And no one would be the wiser. Now I don't know how wise that was.
Well, that must have cost you a bundle.
It actually doesn't matter. Rocco's my best friend. It's what you do for people you love in this life that really matters. Although, I'm not sure much is going to matter. See, the problem is, Rocco doesn't know about it. He doesn't trust anyone, and he doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Well, you know what? Let me talk to Rocco. Right now, he's not going to listen or talk to anyone. So give him a day or two to simmer down, then I'll try to talk to him.
Okay.
Okay. You know what, Gino? I had you figured all wrong. You're really a special guy. I've never met a man so loyal to anyone.
Well, you're kind of special yourself, Deb.
Thanks. You know what, Gino? Why don't you and I go out sometime? Anywhere you want to go.
Really?
Yeah. That would be nice.
Oh, I like that.
That's a fun scene, and a couple of things. Debbie's husband is in the scene. Now he
was sitting at the table.
That's right. That's right. Because he's a great guy, and they came in from Cleveland, and and so we got him into the movie, and he's terrific. So
I didn't realize that. That's good.
And the scene, and then the couple of things what Debbie says in the line when she says, "Anywhere you want to go," is a line I said at the very beginning.
Sure.
And she asked me, she goes, could I try to do a Brooklyn accent? That's how it came out. I said, that's pretty good.
With a Brooklyn accent. That's
anywhere you want to go.
That's good.
A technical aspect to that, all of the audio that you hear in that scene, Joe and Debbie had to redo all of the audio.
That's correct.
Because
that's
background noise had them. It was the original audio didn't work. So that's all after the fact. That sound re-recorded after the fact. And if you look, they, there's an art to that which they nailed right away, and you can't tell.
No, I would have never known that unless you told me. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, guys, I have one last clip before we call it a day here, and I appreciate so much your time. So let me show this. It's near the end of the movie, of course, and it has the very, very finale. But I jumped around a little bit just to splice together, just to give the audience a quick view of how this movie ends.
Hey, Rocco. Rocco, you can't hide forever.
Look, Gino, I don't want anything to do with you.
What do you want me to say? I'm sorry? Huh? I am sorry for what happened to you. But Rocco, things aren't as bad as they seem.
Oh, is that so?
That is so. You got Lucia all wrong. She really cares for you and wants to marry you. And not because of some deal she made with her mom. She loves you for who you are. It just took her a little time. Rocco, the only thing that matters is that she really cares for you. Go talk to her. She wants to make it right. You should know Rose is in the hospital. Lucia's beside herself. She could use your support. Yeah, I tried calling you, but your phone's still disconnected. I'm going to go to see how bad she is. Come with me.
I think I'll pass. Your mother. Deb.
She finished up and left just a few minutes ago. What happened to your finger?
I just nicked it with a drill. It's no big deal. Would you mind getting me some gauze?
Sure.
Thanks.
Now, if you need anything else, you let me know, okay?
Okay, thanks. I should be okay. Oh my God.
I even tried to tell him everything about this stupid deal. how it didn't count anymore, that he doesn't want any part of me. I've lost Rocco. And now I'm afraid I'm going to lose you too. I messed up so bad. I'm so sorry.
Excuse me. Could you please see that Mrs. Lombardi gets these? I didn't want to bother her while she was resting.
Sure,
And, can I borrow a pen, please?
of course.
Thank you.
You can tell Dr. Bailey that I'll go ahead with the surgery.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah, what the hell. It's either the surgery or the curse. Don't want to choose, but I gotta pick one of them. And besides, I'm already in the hospital.
My mom woke up. Could you page Dr. Bailey? She's agreed to go ahead with the surgery.
Yes, of course, right away.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, a gentleman just stopped by and left these roses for your mom. And this for you. Dr. Bailey, Dr. Bailey.
So, who's ready for dessert? Lucia's homemade favorite, Father Thomas.
I'm not sure if I have any more room for dessert, but I think it's so nice that Lucia, that you made your favorite recipe.
Oh, no, Father. Lucia didn't make dessert.
Oh, well, in that case, maybe I'll try one or two.
I'd like to propose a toast to Lucia and everyone here that I love dearly. Amore is too strong a word to say it too early, but has too beautiful a meaning to say it too late. That's amore. Salute.
Salute.
Why don't we get a picture?
I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Father. Wait.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I think Giovanni just peed a little.
And there you have it. And then, of course, it goes into the credit roll. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
Oh, Peter, thank you very much. You did a great job, and you were instrumental in the success and of the film. And great seeing you again. And thanks for having us on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely, my friend. Thank you so much.
And really, I'm honored that you guys are here. So thank you again, and we'll catch up soon.
Please do. Yeah.
Take care. All righty. And there you have it, another episode of Memories of a Musician. And looking ahead, next week, we have a young lady, a terrific worldist. She's a crossover pop opera singer that is soprano that is world renowned. And she's, I had the opportunity and the honor of working with her for several years. And I'm going to tell you a lot about that next week when we see her. Her name is Giorgia Fumanti. She's originally from Tuscany, Italy, and lives now in Montreal. And I'm going to talk all about that. And we'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for another episode of Memories of a Musician. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.